This is lesson 2 for calculus. I'm using a textbook by Larson. All right, the beginning of the book again starts off with review. So we're on chapter P, before chapter 1, section 2, linear models and rates of change. So the definition of slope again is the change in the y over the change in x. You should know this formula. If you don't, make a flashcard on it. You need it for your college test, and you need to know it when you go to college. You won't get a formula sheet in college. You're supposed to know that. Down here, slope is positive when it's going uphill. Slope is 0. You can think about it like a car on a line. If the car is on the line and it has no gas, it's not going anywhere. It's got 0 slope. When it's going downhill, it's got negative slope from left to right. And the car, when it's on the line here, it's going to fall off. It's going to crash. It's going to fire. Anyway, that's undefined because you're dividing by 0. When you divide by 0, it's an undefined number. Okay, you're supposed to know all of these formulas too. These are all equations of lines. The general form ax plus by plus c. A, b, and c are integers. An integer, negative, well, I'll put some dots here, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you've got to clear your fractions and clear your decimals out for it to be in general form. A vertical line is x equals a. Horizontal line is y equals b. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Again, you're supposed to know them all. On the next page, I'd like you to find an equation of a line that passes through the point and has the indicated slope. Then sketch the line. I always use the point slope formula. So I'm going to plug in the points, plug in the y, plug in the x, plug in the slope. So y minus the y, which is 4, equals the slope of negative 3/5 times x minus a -2. Distribute the 3/5 across it. So y minus 4 equals negative 3/5 x minus, minus and minus made plus, and then negative 3/5 times 2 over 1 gives you 6 over 5. And move the minus 4 to the other side, so that makes it a plus 4 over 1. Common denominator is 5, so that makes that 20 over 5. And then you've got y equals then negative 3/5 x. 20 minus 6 is 14. So that equals 2 4/5, or 2.8. So graphing it, it's got the y-intercepts of 2.8, and it's got a slope of down 3, and then right 5. Because they said to just sketch it, so I sketched it. So this is in slope-intercept form, and this would have been point slope form. Next one, they'd like us to find the slope and the y-intercept. Find the slope and y-intercept, if possible, of the line. Well, you're going to have to graph it. Oh, well, not graph it. You're going to have to solve it for y. So solving this for y, notice there's a minus in front of the 5y. Don't lose it. Leave it there. Move the 6x to the other side, so it's negative 6x. Last of all, divide everybody by negative 5. Don't leave anybody out. So that makes y equal positive 6/5 x minus 3. So the slope is 6/5, and the y-intercept is negative 3. When y equals negative 1, go to the y-axis, find the negative 1 on it, draw a line through it. When y equals negative 1, it makes a horizontal line which has a slope of 0. And the y-intercept would also be negative 1. So b is equal to negative 1. Next one, sketching a line in a plane. Sketch the graph of the equation. All right, so again, you're going to need to solve it for y. So 2y equals, move the x and the 6 to the other side. So that makes it negative x minus 6. Divide everything by 2. So that would make it negative 1/2 minus 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we're sketching it. So it goes through the -3. It's got a negative slope, so it's going to go down 1 and right 2. So there's a sketch of it. On the next page, it says, finding an equation of a line. Find an equation of the line that passes through the points, then sketch the graph. All right, so we're missing on this one, we're missing the slope. So what we're going to have to do is find the slope of it first. All right, so we're going to find the slope of it first. So finding the slope of it, using the slope formula, change in y over the change in x. So the y is 2 minus 6, and the x is 1 minus -3. Gives you -4 over 4, or -1. Then I'm going to use that point slope formula again. I'm going to use the second point because there's no negatives on it. You can use either point. So y minus 2 equals that slope of -1 times x minus 1. And I'd like to put it in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to multiply across by -1. So y minus 2 equals -x plus 1. Move the -1 over to plus 2. I mean the -2 over to plus 2. So y equals -x plus 3. So the y-intercept's 3, and it's got a slope of -1, down 1, right 1. So there's a sketch of it also. So the key again is, the first thing you want to do is find the slope. And after you find the slope, then you use one of the points and plug it into that point slope formula to find the line. Next one, writing an equation in general form. Use the result of exercise 52 to write an equation of the line with the given characteristics in general form. All right, so knowing we need to use 52, we can't do 56, but we can do 54. So the same thing again, you want the slope first. We don't have the slope. So the slope would be, again, the change in the y over the change in x. So subtracting the y's, 0 minus -2 over -2 thirds minus 0. So it's 2 divided by -2 thirds. So that equals then 2 times 3 over -2 because you divided by it. So flip it over, change it to multiplication. So you get -3 for the slope. Well, now we got -3 and we got the y-intercept's -2. The whole answer is -3x minus 2 because y equals mx plus b. So I plugged in the slope and I plugged in the y-intercept, and so then you're all done with it. Oh, they want it in general form though. Okay, so putting it in general form, I'm going to move everything to the left. So that would make it a positive 3x and a positive 2. So 3x plus y plus 2 equals 0. All right, finding parallel and perpendicular lines. Recall, when you have parallel lines, they have the same slope. When you have perpendicular lines, they are negative reciprocals. What is a negative reciprocal? Well, I'll give you some examples. 3 and -1/3, 2 thirds, flip it over, -3 over 2. -4/5 becomes positive 5/4. So you have to change the sign of the number, you have to flip it over. And 0 and undefined are reciprocals of each other, because the one's a vertical line and the other one's a horizontal line. So that's how come they're perpendicular or negative reciprocals of each other. All right, so they want it parallel to the given line. All right, honestly, you got to draw these things out. So they have y equals -3. So on the y line, find the -3. So that's the line y equals -3, and they want it through the point -1, 0. Well, if it's going to go through that point and be parallel to it, it's going to be y equals 0. So parallel to that is y equals 0, and then perpendicular to it and through that point, that's going to be x equals -1. All right, the next one. And they, by the way, they want it in general form. Well, so if I want it in general form, I guess technically maybe we should move that 1 over there. So x plus 1 equals 0 and y equals 0. All right, so the next one. So solving this one for y so that we can have the slope. Divide everything by 4. So y equals negative 7/4 x plus 2. So the slope is negative 7/4. So the slope, the line parallel to it would have that same slope, which is negative 7/4. And then perpendicular to it would be 4/7 when you flip it over. So working on it here, so letter A here, they wanted parallel. So parallel to it would be y minus negative 1/2, so that'd be plus 1/2, equals the slope. Parallel to it's the same, negative 7/4, then x minus 5/6. All right, so distribute the negative 7/4. So y plus 1/2 equals negative 7/4 x plus 35/24. All right, at this point, I'd like to just get rid of the fractions because we have to get rid of them to put them in general form. So I'm going to multiply across by the least common denominator, which is 24. So multiply everything by 24. So that makes 24y plus 12 equals negative 42x plus 35. Then move everything left. So that would be 42x plus 24y equals 12 minus 35. We've got to move that over there, so it's negative 35. So that would make it minus 23. So 42x plus 24y minus 23 equals 0. All right. I will see you for the next lesson.